Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm your host, Kim Davis. So glad to have you joining me on this second week of April. Is it the second week of April? Second full week of April. And there is a lot to talk about. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope wherever you are that you are doing well. And remember, if your 2022 hasn't gotten off to the start that you had hoped, you got time because we are now in the second quarter, right? We are headed toward halftime. You got plenty of time to get your stuff together for this year. And I'm just going to remind you that it is never too late to start where you are. Okay, so on this week's show, we've got NFL, we've got Major League Baseball, we've got the NBA, and we have, of course, our big interview. I want to start with, first I'm going to start just checking in on the Houston Astros because that's the team I cover. So the Astros right now are 3-1. They're off to a great start. It is the Astros post Carlos Correa era. Yesterday, I saw some video of Carlos getting his Golden Glove award from last year in his Minnesota Twins uniform. But congratulations to Carlos. His wife was there. The baby was there. We do miss Carlos in Houston, but listen, this Astros team has to move on. I think if you were listening last week when I had Jeremy Booth on, our baseball expert, especially on the Astros, but baseball in general, we talked about how Alex Bregman is going to need to bring it this year, right? He's going to need to have the kind of season that talked about him in terms of being an MVP type player, having an MVP type season. Well, Bregman is off to a great start. Yesterday, he was named American League Player of the Week for the week of April 7th through the 10th. Let me just tell you what he did this week in terms of his numbers and in terms of getting. He is looking healthy, which we really think is the key for him, right? He needs to be healthy, and so. He hit 429. He was 6 of 14 with 2 home runs, 6 RBI, 4 runs, and a 1.286 OPS, a 429 on base percentage. It means he had a heck of a week. And if Alex Bregman can put up those kind of numbers, I mean, he won't have those numbers every week. But if he can put up numbers that keep him in the conversation for being one of the top in the league, especially at his position, it will be welcomed and it will help the Astros a lot. Okay, a lot of you are watching the young Jeremy Pena, who is starting at shortstop. I just keep reminding you, while I think this young man has a bright future, he is not Carlos Correa. You know, when you look at what Carlos could do, the kind of cannon he had as an arm, that's he's really good, right? You don't just replace all of that, but I think that Jeremy Pena could have a bright future, so we'll follow him. I'm excited that next week the Astros will have their home opener on Monday. I will be there, so we'll talk about that on next week's show. But super excited about what this Astros team might be able to do. The last time the Astros had a player to be named American League Player of the Week, I want to make sure I get this right. I believe it was Justin Verlander. Let me see. Because when I saw it, I was like, wow, yes. So Bregman becomes the first Astro player to win American League Player of the Week since Justin Verlander did so in September of 2019. So it's been almost 3 years since an Astros player has been named American League Player of the Week. Listen, we'll take it. All right. So the Astros, as I mentioned, are off to a 3-1 start. They started on the road. They come off the road to have their home opener. Let's see here. So today, the Astros are playing in Arizona. They play the Diamondbacks. And then they will, when they finish out the road series. So today they're playing the Diamondbacks. That is a They have a 2-game series. I mean, they play again tomorrow. They're off Thursday. Then Friday they head to Seattle to play a weekend series with the Mariners before heading home to open next Monday on the 18th, Tax Day. There you have it. They play the Angels at home for the home opener, in the night opener. So it is baseball season, and you know I love me some baseball, right? I'm hoping the Astros can do it this year. It's a long season. The key is going to be being healthy. We're going to see what they get from the bullpen. So pitching is going to be important. Justin Verlander, in his first start of the since playing again. When did he start? Did he start Monday? It was a loss for the Astros, but it looked like he had a solid outing. It just didn't look like. Nope, they won on Sunday. So they lost on Saturday. So Justin Verlander he pitched 5 innings, had 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts, and 3 walks. So not a bad outing, right? They lost that game 2-0, so he got no run support. But a solid, good first outing for Justin Verlander. So we'll keep an eye on how he does, how he looks in terms of, he says he feels good, but they don't want to do too much because he is coming off that Tommy John surgery, and he's a little older. He's not too old, but they want to make sure that they keep him healthy. So how, once again, Dusty is going to have to do a heck of a job at managing this team. All right, so I talked to you about the fact that if you saw the promo, the Houston Texans are back at work, right? They've kicked off the off-season training program. It is, and I do little air quotes, voluntary. But when you won 4 games the season before, is it really voluntary? I mean, it's technically voluntary, but let me just say this. Yeah, you might want to show up, right? So yesterday was the first day of the off-season training program. Got a chance to talk with the head coach and coordinator. So we talked with Lovie Smith, who is the head coach and will be calling the defense, and also Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator, and Frank Ross. And one of the things that Lovie Smith talked about, I mean, they are optimistic about Davis Mills going into year 2. He is, doing all the things that you need to do to try to make that jump from year 1 to year 2, and they want to build on the way that he kind of ended the season. They want to build on what am I trying to say? The growth that he had late in the season. So we'll see. We'll see how much of a jump he makes. We'll see if the game is really slowed down, if he really takes that next step. And clearly, he has some things to get to. So clearly he has some things to get to, right? So we'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting offseason. We'll be curious to see about what they do in the draft. In the availability yesterday, what the Texans coaches, we didn't have an opportunity to, they weren't really there to talk about the draft, which is a couple of weeks away. It was really more about, getting back into training, getting the guys in the building with the new coaching staff. And he says they're locked in. Lovie said that everybody seems to be locked in. And we talked about some of the needs and what he'd like to see. And he said, obviously, he was asked about the safety position, right? They lost Justin Reed, and that was a big loss. He said, Justin's not only a good player, he's a good friend, and he wishes Justin the best, but they're going to miss Justin Reed in that, in the secondary. But he talked about Jonathan Owens, who had some good outings, and they like what they've seen from Jonathan Owens. They like what they've seen from Eric Murray. And they also have liked what they've seen from Terrence Brooks. So bringing those guys back into year 2, Lovie says he's looking forward to that and what can happen. When you look at the cornerback position, he was very honest about it. He said, we must get better at the cornerback position. Okay, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what they do in the draft. I have no idea what they're going to do. I feel like they're going to take a defensive player with their first pick. I don't know if that's going to be the safety. I mean, the safety we've heard a lot about, or the cornerback rather we've heard a lot. The safety we've heard a lot about, or if he's going to get an edge rusher, because he talked about that too. So he talked about some of the players coming back and having some consistency. And here's the other thing, being able to be together, because remember last year it was still COVID. So last year you had an entirely new coaching staff. You had a very a new roster from the previous year, and because of COVID they weren't able to be in the building together a lot. They did a lot of the work on Zoom, and it's difficult in some industries, and I would say definitely in something like football, to be able to connect and make some of the progress you have when you've got so many new pieces. Not an excuse, right? But a reality. So he said just being back in the building has been good already. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on what happens. Of course, the draft is coming up. We're going to be talking about the draft. I'm going to do some pre-draft stuff next week. I'm not going to say yet, but I think I'm going to have a guest on that's someone who's a draft prospect from Texas Southern University. I'm waiting to confirm it with his agent, but have him join us talking about really his potential landing spots or opportunities, and then just the draft in general. And then the following week, I'll probably have Cody Davis of Locked On Texans join me to do more specifically to talk a little bit about the Houston Texans draft. So a lot of that's coming up, right? And I'm looking forward to it. Talking with Pep Hamilton. Pep Hamilton talked about, the offense. I asked him about the offensive line and just, having a Laramie Tunzel back and having a Titus Howard back and trying to get some consistency, because last year they had so many injuries and they had so much change on that line. And so having these guys come back and to be healthy now and in the building together to get to work early, it can only benefit them, because as Pep has said since the day he was named offensive coordinator, we're going to be a run first team. We've got to run the ball better. Well, they certainly can't run it any worse because they had the worst running game in the league last year. But in order to have a good running game, you also got to have some good help up front. So we talked a bit about that. The running game, the fact that they did re-sign Brandon Cooks. And let me say this: I know there's some among us who think that the Texans should, trade everybody away, get draft capital because they're not going to be good this year, and then work toward the year after that. But at what point do you start trying to instill the culture of winning? Don't expect that this team would be a playoff team this year, but you can't. I don't think you can approach the season with the mindset of, let's not really keep anybody. Let's just, let's try to wait until the next year and go all in. The cap's going to be higher. We have all these draft picks. Listen, you got to start doing some work with what you have. And I'm sure that that's been a conversation with the coaching staff and the coaching staff has had with Nick Caserio and I guess Jack Easterby. So while they clearly won't go out and spend a bunch of money on free agents, I don't expect that they will. It was good to see them keep Brandon Cooks, because if you want to see just how good is Davis Mills, how good can he be, what is his upside, not only does the O-line have to protect him, not only do you have to have a running game, he's got to have some people to throw to, right? So bringing Brandon Cooks back, a person who is really productive, a person he knows, who's been in this offense, has worked with him, I think was just really really positive. So I am curious to see what all they have to say about what this roster is going to look like, right? The roster is really, really very uncertain to me at this point, because I just can't get a good feel on which direction they're going to go. Okay? Talking to our guest who's going to be joining me, and I don't see her in the little green room yet, but so listen, we I think we can all admit that football is a year-round sport, right? There really is no real season. There's a season when they're actually playing games, and then there's the rest of the year when they're getting ready to play games. So we'll see what that looks like in terms of their draft. Hold on a second. I am looking for my guest to see if, in fact, okay, I don't see her yet. All right, so yeah, listen, I know that many of you, good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for saying hello, being a part of the broadcast. Cyril White, hello. Marcus Hackett. Marcus, you already on the Lovie bandwagon, right? You say he is doing so good. He's going to do good. He's got to have something to work with, though, right? Because he is not a miracle worker. We will see what happens. And yeah, they couldn't. They couldn't hire. Good morning, Kevin Walker. Yeah, you got jokes. Good morning. You've got to have somebody, right? If you're trying to, in fact, really build this organization. And here's the other thing. You're also trying to re-engage your fan base, because it's been a disaster and a dumpster fire for the past couple of seasons. And you're right. Bill O'Brien, he did destroy the franchise by trading people away and not getting anything in return. I mean, what? And then paying money to players that really made them so cap heavy. What he did to this organization was really almost criminal. I mean, was he really that bad? Or was he just evil? I don't even know what it was, but I would rather not spend much time talking about him. Because he's gone now. Good morning, Sylvia, my dear sister. So he is gone, and while there are still people here, good morning, JY, there are still some people here. I mean, I know many of you have been waiting to see what's going to happen with Jack Easterby. What I say, I think Jack Easterby is here to stay. So I'm just glad that Lovie Smith is the head coach, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what they do in the draft. We'll see what kind of capital, what kind of resources, what they do with all these picks. Are they going to trade down from the 3 spot? Are they going to consider getting a quarterback in the draft? I really have no idea. They keep it pretty close to the vest over there. And of course, when they do say something, they'll release it to one of the national guys, because that's how they roll over there on Kirby. All right. You were listening to Chalk Talk. I am your host, Kim Davis. And before I jump to the Rockets, I wanted to make sure. She's not my guest. Just texted me. She's got something to do, so she's going to come in later. All right. So the other thing we talked about yesterday was a busy day, right? It was the beginning of the Texans off-season training. It was the official end of the Rockets season, right? They wrapped everything up. They had exit interviews on Sunday night after Sunday's game, and then exit interviews yesterday. And we got a chance to visit with some of the players. Now, I missed some of the interviews because I had to go to Texas and then get downtown, but I did get a chance to talk to Jalen Green. Also talked to Rafael Stone, the general manager, and head coach Stephen Silas. I know many of you are interested, as I am, or I was, in what exactly is the plan for John Wall moving forward, right? So just to refresh your memory, John Wall came over last season, not the season that just ended, but in the 2021 season from Washington, from the Wizards, in the trade that sent Russell Westbrook to the Wizards, right? You got to match people. Why they trade for him? Listen, you got to match like salaries. So he came over in that trade. I think our big interview is here. We're going to put a pin in the Rockets conversation and have our big interview, and then we'll come back on the other side and talk Rockets. And I'll also let you hear from Jalen Green, Rafael Stone, and also Stephen Silas. So I want to welcome to the show my dear friend, my sister, Kim, another Kim in the house, right? Kim Edwards-Williams. Hello, my friend. How are you this morning?
Hello. Thanks, Kim. Thanks for having me.
Always. So listen, one of the things that we do here on Chalk Talk is we have the big interview, right? And so you are the big interview this week. And what I wanted to talk about is I know all the great stuff that's going on in your business, you and your husband's business. I love Jinka. People who followed Chalk Talk have heard me talk about Jinka, how it's a great product to incorporate into your regimen if you're trying to live a more healthy lifestyle. Give us a little clip, a reminder about what Jinka does, and then I want to talk about what's happening with Jinka right now.
Yes, thank you. I can talk about this all day, but since it's right, here's Jinka, y'all, and this has really just been a source of so many things for me and my family, as well as so many people. It's really very simple. It's a mix of 8 roots and herbs: so turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, date sugar, coconut oil, pink Himalayan salt, black pepper, all the good stuff, right? And what it does is reduce inflammation. And so this product is helping people. And where we are right now is it's recently, Houston has held us down for the last 6 years, and we appreciate that. But we just went viral on TikTok, and that's caused a whole nother uproar. So kind of where we are.
So my sister Sylvia said it's been a blessing to her. I know that, and I like to remind people, because the way Jinka even came about was your husband created it for you, because you had been diagnosed as pre-diabetic, and he was like, "Yeah, we can't take all these pills. We need our family to be healthy." And so he came up with this paste, and then you started sharing it with people. Can you just talk about some of the testimonies, the stories, the things that people have said? I take this paste and these capsules, and this is what I experience.
Yeah, man, Kim, it's been all kinds of things, and like I said, it's been 6 years, so we've heard it all. Lupus, thyroid, gout, eczema, psoriasis, of course, diabetes, and yes, I was pre-diabetic, and I don't think we believe in pre anything. It's really diabetic, and that's what we all should believe. So if you have the word pre and you're holding on to that, don't hold on to that too long. It'll shift real quick. But it's helped people through their cancer journeys, pain, inflammation. We've had a couple reversals of blindness because of inflammation in the eyes. Cataracts is inflammation. And so anything that's inflamed, we're seeing it reverse a lot of it. And so we're excited about it because we're also in grocery stores here in Texas. And in those grocery stores, you can actually purchase the product with EBT benefits. And so this is for our community. We've been dying, for years over things that we haven't had to, behind things we haven't had to. And I think diabetes is our pandemic. I think it's our COVID. And so if you look at the numbers,
right.
So like we've gotta look at this and manage it like that.
So you said grocery stores. I want to be more specific in case people are in Texas. You can get it at HEB, right?
Yeah.
You get it at HEB. I also want to talk to him about what it means to go viral and what it did for your business and what you've had to do as a result of it, right? Because we hear that a lot about, oh, these videos went viral. But for your business, can you talk about how much your business changed basically overnight?
Absolutely. Thank you, Kim. It did. Our business changed overnight, and it went viral on TikTok. And so TikTok was a new platform for us. And so basically, my husband just kind of posted some random videos and even some older content just to kind of get us going. We'd had the account for a year or so, but hadn't really used it. And it was a really cool story how the day it went viral, my husband said that he had a little strategy. He was going to go jump in the shower. He saw his numbers moving, but he said, I don't know what's going on right here. I'm going to go in the shower, take my time, come back out. If some change is happening, something's definitely happening. So he said he came out of the shower and he was like, babe, something's happening. I went in and we had like 400 followers. We now have 1,000, and there's also, $5,000 in the account. Like, what? Hold on. And so that literally moved like that for about 4 days. The first 2 days we were literally on the phone, on text message, on email, because one of the videos that went viral, my husband so graciously gave his phone number, And so everybody across TikTok was calling. And that actually isn't a bad thing for us, because me and my husband, we love to talk about this. And so in that moment, we had lots of amazing conversations, connected with some great people. But we're doing customer service and we can't have 20-minute phone calls. So we were all over the place those first 3 days. And then we realized, okay, these people want their product. Let me get off this phone, right? We have to do this. And so we emailed our customers and said that, hey, we went viral and we're gonna need 30 days. Most people understood, a lot of people understood, some people didn't. We kindly said you could definitely have a refund if you want. We shut down our warehouse for maybe about a week and a half, to literally build up to be able to produce it. And so pulled everything out, cleaned it up, got new machines, got a whole new setup, and got to working. And we're a small company. It's me and my husband, and our nephews help us, but we've had family and friends coming over, chipping in, and it's just been amazing. So 40 something days later, we're just completing the TikTok, thousands of new orders. And we've leveled up. It's leveled us up to a new opportunity in business. And so where we are now is to be able to reach the demand, because the demand is high. We literally had to shut down our website for 25 days to not accept.
So that means no new orders for 25 days.
Literally for 25 days, because we couldn't, you
can complete them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we just couldn't make that make sense. And so we shut down the website and started working. But now what we know is people love our capsules, and we've been doing a fairly antiquated way. And so we're in a space where we have to get a new capsule machine. And we're so excited about that. It's just another level up in our business. And so we've created a pre-sale opportunity for people to get a savings, 50%, 30%, if you pre-order and be patient and wait and get your products in 90 days. That will give you product as a savings, and it'll also give us the resources to go ahead and get this bigger, better, nicer machine that we need, so we can help everybody.
So Kim, I think it's important to mention too that you guys were able to get some new machines for the paste, right? You were able to increase your production for the paste, but then there's the capsules, which is a whole other thing. So I think the information is your current process produces about 1,600 capsules an hour?
An hour, yes.
Right. And usually the orders have 60 capsules in an order, right? Or on the for the smaller orders.
Yes.
You've got hundreds of people who now want capsules because they went to your website, they heard about the paste, so they bought the paste, they bought the capsules, they bought the soap. Like if you had it, they bought it all. So what is it at the peak of when you guys were like, oh my gosh, what was that? How much did you sell in terms of either units, or what was that growth in that viral phase?
I mean, up like 500%. Thousands of orders, and within those orders there were multiple units. And so you have thousands of orders but multiple units of products, and so you have thousands of units that you have to get together. And so it's been a lot, but it's been really, really exciting. And we're so excited for all the new people that are using the product. We'll be in about 30 days where we'll be able to have some new testimonies and create conversation and really just changing lives, Kim, because one thing that we did see when we were on these phones those first 2 or 3 days is a lot of people are in pain. A lot of people are hurting. And today, unlike 6 years ago when we started, people are seeking other alternatives. They're looking for things like turmeric and, this that they haven't touched before. So we're really excited for that.
Can we talk about who you realize your avatar is? We hear that in business. Like, who's your avatar? The video that went viral was of this African American man in his 40s, maybe early 50s.
About 55.
Okay, and he kind of shared his story and people resonated with him, and you were like, that's our avatar, because we have people all over that saw this man and are like, I need what he has. So he talked about his circulation being better, he talked about inflammation, he talked about all of that in a very non-commercial, just like, man, I took this stuff and look what happened, and your business exploded. That's what's so amazing to me.
Yeah, it really was. That was something we really, I've analyzed a lot, because it just shows that imagery matters. We've talked about that for years in marketing. Imagery matters. People need to see people that look like them. And literally, this man had every man in the world that looked and sounded like him calling us. And so now we can take that from a business perspective. All you entrepreneurs out there, you can take that dynamic of customer, Black man, age, his occupation. We have all of those things now, and the things that they're dealing with. And so we can target that person more specifically. And so that is learning our avatar. And in this, we not only found men, because one thing that drove, one statement that he said in the testimony was that his lady liked it, meaning his lady liked Jinka as well. And so what that's leading to is that we have seen amazing results with men, libido, with Jinka helping in that area. And so we think that comment led to a lot of phone calls as well, because they would call and then their wife would be sitting next to them, or the wife would call sit next to them. And so, those things are real. And a lot of people that are on diabetic meds and high blood pressure meds, that's going to affect it. And so, if this product can help bring life back to families and relationships and partners, we're with it.
So ilovejinka.com is the website. I'm going to also drop it in the chat. You can go there. It's turned back on the order. If you're interested in the pre-order, you can find out information about that as well. I've reposted that video and information on my platforms. I will share it again today. And Kim, before you go, because I know you're still super busy, he wants to know how you spell it. And you can get it at HEB. You guys are back stocked at HEB, right?
Some, depending on their location.
Okay.
Will be before the end of this week. Most stores should be back restocked, because that's another thing that happened when going viral. All of our HEB locations was wiped out, and so now literally every time we refill a store, they sell out.
So Jinka is spelled Jinka, and before you go, the thing I want to get you to talk about is the reason you guys were able to respond as well as you were, even though it was overwhelming, is because you had a system and you had processes in place, right? People think, oh, I'll just go viral. No, what's your business structure? Like, what do you have set in place so that you can scale up? Do you know how to be able to scale quickly if something happened to explode your business? And I think that's super, super important.
Yeah, I think we've as a company, me and my husband, we've always known there was no plan B in this. And so we've always been prepared for the scale up mentally. And it's so funny because a lot of our vendors that we deal with, I used to always joke with LJ, because every month he'd call them and be like, I just want to make sure y'all ready when we go viral. Are y'all going to be ready when we go viral? When I call y'all and I'm going to need this number here, can you handle it? And they're like, yes, Mr. Williams, we got you, right? Because, he's been saying that for 6 years because we believed it. And I think that's another thing, if you're putting out good work into the universe and you believe it, and do your hardest, it's going to come true.
Well, listen, I appreciate you. Keep up the great work. We will talk later. And I just think it's exciting to watch. And I always learn from you guys in terms of scaling your business and what you're doing. And you're super helpful with just in this space of creating product and building. So look, get back to making it. I'm looking forward to seeing the capsule machine, getting the capsule machine, because that changes it from 1,600 capsules an hour to 20,000 capsules.
20,000 capsules an hour.
So that's a game changer. So you're able to sustain the growth, because people don't just get it one time. they get results, and they need to continue getting it. So, listen, it's awesome.
That's it. Thank you, Kim.
All right. Thank you, Kim. I'll talk to you soon. All right. That is Kim Edwards Williams. I love Jinka. I put the website on the screen. You can go online, and you can also check out HEB. You might want to call first because the demand has just been so high. So listen, the big interviews that sometimes will be sports people. It'll be whoever I want, whoever we think is important. And as you can see, Angel is alive and is awake and active. So I'm going to let you hear from head coach, Rockets coach Stephen Silas. I want to shift back to talking about the Rockets before we get out of here. And let you hear from Stephen Silas, and then I'm going to bring Angel on board. So here's Stephen Silas yesterday talking about kind of after the season's over and the fact that they're so young and looking toward the future.
We had a bunch of guys who never played in the NBA before, or guys who hadn't been in the starting role that they were in before, or playing new positions, and all the things. We really started at zero this year with a lot of guys. So getting to the point where we played an 82-game season with these guys, and their roles will be similar next year, depending on if we have two new young guys or not. We'll still be starting at a much higher place than we were this season as far as understanding, and then to Kelly's point, not being so bland on both ends of the floor, because there'll be a much higher level of understanding when it comes to the young guys.
So, the bland part he was talking about, the question was asked about him expanding the playbook. Like next year, can they do more? Because if you think about it, how young they were, and you heard me say all season how young they were. And so there was growth, especially after the All-Star break. You saw a little more growth from this team. They really tried to focus on defense, and they got better at it. You saw it was tough for them to finish sometimes. When they get in games with more veteran clubs, and they would sometimes get a league, and they just weren't always able to sustain it. And so those are some things that I think being in year 2 will be able to help them with, right? One of the other things that we talked about yesterday, and I'm going to let you hear from Rafael Stone on the John Wall thing, but Jalen Green, has, I think it came out yesterday that he was Rookie of the Month or something. Maybe it's Rookie for March and April, because April is just abbreviated. He was the Rookie of the Month for that. Will he be first? Will he be rookie? All rookie first team NBA? We don't know. We know Jayshawn Tate was that for the Rockets last year. Jalen may be. And one of the questions we asked him after Sunday's game when the season ended, if he's going to go back and be number 4. He's been number 4 like before he got here, growing up in high school in the G League, and he will be number 4 again next year. That was Daniel House's number, and even though House left mid-season from the Rockets, it's not that easy to just change a number mid-season. So he is going to be number 4. But he also talked about just what they learned, what he learned this season, what they learned as a unit, and really kind of what his plan is for the summer. Here is rookie Jalen Green.
Guys I can learn from in the NBA. I'm gonna work out with a couple of vets. Hopefully DeJounte. Talk to Kyrie a little bit, so I'm gonna pick their brain a little bit too. And yeah, I got some film and blueprint from my coaches in them right now, so it's gonna start as soon as I get home. They're gonna send it on Slack, so yeah.
How beneficial do you think it's going to be to your development this offseason that you and all the other young guys got to kind of grow at the same pace collectively this season?
I think it's going to be, you said how it's going to be beneficial?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be super beneficial because we all learned in the same season what to do, what not to do, how to score, how to play defense, be in the right spots, and now we can take all that knowledge that we learned this year going into next year, and it's going to start training camp and stuff like that. So think it's going to be super beneficial.
I also asked Jalen yesterday about what he's going to work on this summer, right? He talked about, he hopes to get with some players like Kyrie, and he's already got film, and, he's looking forward to building. Coach Silas talks about how the stuff that most of us don't see when there's no cameras, when there's no mics, when practice is over, how he's always there putting in the work. And you've seen him. He's a slim-built guy. So he talked about, and I asked about what he's going to do, in terms of with his body. You can learn the playbook and you can work on all those things. But he talked about getting stronger, especially in his legs. And so he's going to, work out this summer and work toward putting on some. Let me see here. I'm looking at my Wi-Fi connection. And work toward being stronger in his body as his body matures, so that his body can mature as his game matures. And so we'll see. I know there are many that have mixed thoughts about Jalen Green, what his upside is. He ended the season well. Yeah, he got 41 in the losing effort to the Hawks on Sunday. That's a team that was vying for a playoff spot. And I think he scored better than 30 in the last 6 games. We had more than 20 points in the final 6 games, he and KPJ. So we'll see what this team can do. Here's one of the questions that I know I was interested in, and I'm sure that many of you are interested in as well, is what is going to happen with John Wall, right? What are they going to do with John Wall? What are they going to do with John Wall? John Wall, as I was saying before we had the big interview join us, came over in the trade for Russell Westbrook. And, you got to be able to make a deal that you got to make the numbers match, so that you trade a player that made as much money as Russell, you got to get one back. You got to feel that. You got to feel that spot, right? Either with multiple players or one. So John Wall's got a big contract. He didn't play this year. What we were told, the conversation was right before training camp last year was, John Wall was going to be kind of like, a coach for these young guys. They were going to look to find the right trade, the right deal for John Wall. And I guess it started that way, but it didn't go real long. And perhaps it's at the point that when you would see John Wall on the bench, looking like he would rather be having a root canal, So, listen, I don't know if it was right after the All-Star break or before. I haven't seen John Wall in quite some time. So he's not in the building. He's not working with the young players. He's still getting his check. And I just think it was tough to move him. Now, here's the thing. He has an expiring contract, so maybe they can make a deal for him this summer. But I'm going to let you hear from Rafael Stone, and I'll tell you what I think on the other side. So here is Rafael Stone, Rockets general manager, when he was asked yesterday, when we asked him about John Wall and, what's the plan?
Situation's good. We're fine. So I think what I would say on John is we have a very good relationship. We're working towards a common goal. That has been what we've been doing this whole time, and we'll continue doing that.
If the deal doesn't materialize before training camp.
So the situation's fine. Yeah. Okay. And here's kind of a follow-up about John Wall.
Well, I think there's a real market for John. I think we'll find a deal that will work for him and for us. And if one doesn't materialize, we'll cross that bridge if and when it occurs. But that is not something he's focused on. It's not something I'm focused on at this time.
Other than
so, that's what Rafael Stone said. And maybe there's a market, like I said, because he does have an expiring contract. I think, and we don't know what's going to happen. Here's what I think. They can't do what they did this year. This situation that we just saw that they can't do that. So I don't know what they're going to do next year, but I can't imagine that you want to go into another year of paying the guy that kind of money and him not having any contribution to your roster. Just, it didn't work out quite like I guess they thought. Maybe it did. I don't know. But they've got to do something different next year. That's what I think. So he says he and John Wall are great. We haven't seen him. He also made a joke like, he owes me a drink. I really like John Wall. I'm sure he likes him. But John Wall is scheduled to make in this coming season another $43 million. It's a whole lot of cheese. It's a lot of money to be chilling or working out at home and not being a part of the team. So I will be curious to see what Rafael Stone is able to do, what they're able to do this Rockets franchise to fix that, right? Because while he was smiling yesterday and said everything's fine, is it really fine? I don't think it's really fine. Yes. Hey, good morning, Raynice Edwards. Yes, I love Jinka. It is a great product, and you've got to be consistent with it. Find a way that you can get it. Either put it in your coffee or in apple juice or almond milk, or maybe you want to just take capsules instead. But it is a great product, and if you haven't tried it, go to the website and read the information about it and see her and her husband, Kim and LJ, and they have really talk about starting grassroots, created something that's helping people, changing lives, and also has grown into a really solid family business. All right, everybody, as we kind of are gearing up toward the draft, I told you that yesterday the Texans have started their off-season program, or at least the voluntary workouts. Today, so we talked to the head coach and coordinators. Today, we're going to talk to some of the players. So when I'm done with this version today, I'm going to go over and visit with some of the players. And so follow wherever you follow me on my social platforms. Make sure you check in. I'll be posting some of those interviews. And I will also let you know who the big interview is for next week. I hope it is the player from Texas Southern who is going to join me. But we're going to be doing some kind of pre-draft stuff, and hopefully also we'll visit with one of the agents that I talk to from time to time. And of course, as always, if there's something that you have on your mind that you would like to see as a part of Chalk Talk, either as a part of a topic, or if you'd like to see a guest or a conversation for the big interview, let me hear from you, right? You can reach me on any of the platforms where you're watching the show today, or you can email me, kim@kimydavis.com, right? That's kim@kimydavis.com. There's my email scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can reach me there. I would love to hear from you and see what you'd like to see us do here on Chalk Talk. The other thing is, remember, Chalk Talk is brought to you by Kimmy Treats. That's the title sponsor of our broadcast. I'm going to be making some changes with Kimmy Treats in terms of the website. Right now, you can get the popcorn and the body butter on one site. I'm going to have to split those sites up pretty soon, but right now, if you go there, you can order products. I will tell you, I'm going to pull the site down for a couple of weeks because I'm going to be traveling, and I don't want people to wait weeks for their products. But if you order something between now and say next Tuesday, which will be the 19th of April, I'll remind you on the show, you'll get your products. After that, I'm going to pull the site down for a couple weeks, and I'll put it back up when we're back making product, because we make it fresh and we don't really keep it on the shelves for a really long time. It has shelf life, but that's just kind of how we operate. So listen, as always, I appreciate you. Remember, however you are watching this show, please share it with your audience so that others can join as well. I have some changes coming to how we do Chalk Talk in the future. Starting May 4th, we're going to move the show to our YouTube channel. In terms of the live version, you'll still be able to see some recordings and replays other places, but beginning on April, on May the 4th. So I'm going to remind you the next few weeks so that you can please go to my Chalk Talk with Kim YouTube channel and subscribe. Before I leave, I'm going to again put the link to where you can subscribe in the chat. I'm going to pin it at top, and I'm grabbing it now, so it makes it really easy that you can click that link, go to my YouTube channel. It is Chalk Talk with Kim. How about that, right? And where's my link? Here's the subscription link. So you go and subscribe, if you will. I would be very appreciative of that. And if you also will share that with your friends and family. Look, it's absolutely free to subscribe. Okay, so I posted it in the chat, and I'm then going to pin it at the top of the chat so that you can grab it. Okay, so I pinned it. So that's the link that you can go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll make sure that you subscribe to Chalk Talk with Kim, click that link. You'll get notifications about when we're going live so that you can watch the show on YouTube. Because I am going to switch over and do the show exclusively on YouTube in the next few weeks. But I want to get you ready for it because I don't want you to come here looking for it, however you're seeing it today, and it not be there. So please go to subscribe on YouTube. Click the link in the chat. It's pinned at the top. And I would be ever so grateful. All right, that is it for Chalk Talk for today. Thank you guys so much, as always, for being a part of the show. I so appreciate you. And I am going to go have some conversations with some Texas players and see what's on their mind, see what's going on. I have no idea. I imagine Davis Mills will be one of them, but stay tuned to find out. As always, do something kind for somebody else. And here's Angel. Say hello, everybody. She is still celebrating. Yesterday was National Pet Day. 2 days before, day before that was National Siblings Day. So hello to my siblings, my sisters Sylvia and Peaches, or Ellen, as some of you may know her, and my brother Lewis, who is never on social media, but happy belated Siblings Day to him too. All right. Make it a great week, everybody. Do something kind for yourself, something kind for somebody else. Make sure you're vaccinated, right? We're hearing about COVID numbers starting to kind of rise back up. Make sure you're vaccinated. You might want to put some mask on when you're going in crowded spaces, when you don't even know what's going on. Practice the right protocols. And always, always, always remember to get registered to vote, all right? Make it a great, great week. Angel, you've got fans. You've got fans, okay? Make it a great week, everybody. I'll see you next Tuesday. I keep wanting to say Beyond the Headlines. You know what? I think I'm going to start a Beyond the Headlines podcast from my old days in my last real TV job. So I may create that for a different kind of conversation. But Chalk Talk, that's what we'll do. I'll see you next Tuesday on Chalk Talk. Have a great week, everybody.